Hey guys, and welcome to the DBGA podcast, a podcast where I interview top level executives inside leading and growing companies in the beauty and e commerce industry. Excited to have our guest today, Sharareh Siadat. We'll be diving into her story and a little bit about what her company does and some engaging insights in the beauty industry. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, Sharareh. Could you please introduce yourself and tell a quick snippet of your story and your background prior to working at TooD Beauty?
Thank you so much, Rachel. It's an honor to be here today, and always fun to just connect with people, especially women in business, and just see where our conversation goes. My name is Sharareh Siadat. I'm a first-generation Iranian-American that was born and raised in America. I grew up in a very small town in Massachusetts, where I always say I was in a sea of blonde hair and blue eyes, and clearly I don't have blonde hair and blue eyes. My natural color is quite dark. And why that is important in terms of my beauty narrative and my experience of what brought me to the beauty industry is when I didn't have any representation of faces like me in the media and in beauty. I really felt, in the 80s and 90s, there was always one type of beauty being shown, and that was a Eurocentric model. So I grew up feeling really less than my classmates, particularly because, as you can see here, I have these 100 hairs between my eyes that made me really stand out. I got teased a lot for having a unibrow, for having, more tan, darker skin and hairy arms and legs. And I really did not know how to deal with that as a little kid. And I didn't have the language to talk about that with my parents. So I grew up feeling very insecure about the way I looked. When I was 13, we moved to Massachusetts. We moved from Massachusetts to Florida, and I looked at that as an opportunity to reinvent myself. I said, well, there'll be a new group of people who never met me before, so I must tweeze my unibrow, and therefore my secret, which I was so ashamed of, my unibrow, can be forgotten. So lo and behold, at 13 and a half, my unibrow went away, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I thought, I'm human. I'm just like everyone else. And my secret was locked in my Pandora's box. So fast forward to another 24 years of tweezing my unibrow, of chasing whiteness, as I say, of always trying to conform to Eurocentric beauty standards, from highlighting my hair to shaving, waxing, lasering. I ended up going to Stern Business School at NYU. I double majored in IT and marketing. I had a whole career in pharmaceuticals in my 20s. From there, I got pregnant, and I had 2 blonde-haired, blue-eyed children. My name was Sherry Loeffler, and I like to say my alibi was on lock because no one really knew who I was, which was a Persian girl named Sharareh Siadat with a unibrow. And why that's important for me and why that kind of got me into beauty is my 3rd daughter was born, who did not look like my older 2 daughters, and she looked like a spitting image of me. And I like to say that that very intentionally happened for me to allow me to look at this mirror of seeing her beauty, her effervescence, her joy, her joie de vivre, and realizing that I didn't witness that in myself. I looked at seeing that as a way to say, why do I hate myself so much? Why am I erasing every aspect of my natural beauty? For what purpose? Where did that stem from? So it really kind of was her birth was a portal for me to really go through this internal examination. And at the time when she was around 3 years old, I decided to grow back my unibrow at 37 years old. And this grew back in 6 weeks. That's how hairy I am. And what was amazing for me, Rachel, was understanding that this is not a scary face at all. That, we've been conditioned in society to feel like if we have a unibrow, we need to tweeze it. And the beauty industry has really profited off of shame and insecurity and conformity to one standard of beauty that many people in the world, actually the majority of people in the world, don't resemble. And I really started to see a lot of problems in the beauty industry. I didn't think I was going to enter the beauty industry because I decided to write a children's book. I thought that if I write a children's book, I would allow new generation of children to see the true diversity of faces. because we all have a beauty and belonging to ourselves, and we all have a beauty and just being who we are and with the face that we were born with. So through that process, I told my book agent, what if we had one product that we could bundle with a book, like a creamy eyeshadow? And as you can kind of see right here, I have one of the colors in blue on, where I thought, if this is my superhero mask, children could be able to paint themselves, and therefore anything that they perceived as an insecurity is actually their superpower. She thought that was a good idea. We looked at licensing that idea. My book deal fell through, and 3 weeks later, I walked into a lab, and that is how I entered the beauty space. My brand is called TooD Beauty, TOOD. It's short for attitude, because I realized the moment I changed this, my mind, about how I felt about myself, my whole world changed. I was no longer allowing society, corporations, family, friends telling me how I should look, and actually mostly myself. I had put myself in a mental prison. And I think real beauty is in connection to self, and really like loving yourself. And I didn't really know what self-love meant. I didn't really know what acceptance meant. That's not something that is like truly taught either in school or in like beauty campaigns. I think now we're trying to do that, but it's very performance-based and not really rooted in realness. And I thought that if I can come up with the cleanest paints in the industry, and I call them paints because who am I to tell you where to wear makeup? Our whole body is a canvas for expression. I wanted to have the cleanest formulas because from being pregnant 3 times, I knew what chemicals were endocrine disrupting and what I couldn't wear. So I share with the lab the list of the no's. And then I also, because being a mother, I really honor Mother Earth. I started to look at how the formula is then compatible with the packaging, and how can I create the greenest, most sustainable packaging. So not only is it safe for your body, your hair, and skin, because all of my formulas are multi-purpose and multi-use, but also how are we not adding more waste to a very wasteful industry. And then lastly, I really look at this as clean to the third power with TooD, because the mental health. I shared my earlier story with you about my childhood because I wanted you to understand how much I was harmed by what I saw in the industry, what I didn't see, the words that were used, like makeup, makeover, all of these things are inherently, even in the word, the etymology of the word, are telling us that we're wrong, are telling us that we have to change who we are. And I thought, what a concept to have a brand that actually has the same ethics and morals that I do, which is why it's my brand, but also at a price point that made sense, because I don't think that clean beauty should just be for the rich. I think it should be the standard and not the exception. So it's at a very democratized price point too, because I really want people to feel good about the products that they use, that they last. We're a colorful brand. We're the first brand to bring color to the industry that lasts. So I always say TooD is about clean color and performance, and a generational conversation. So my daughters can use it and I feel safe. And with all of these Sephora 9 and 10-year-olds, and I surely have one of them too, there's so much misinformation about what is safe for children to have. And so I just wanted to have no issue with feeling safe as a parent to buy my products, but also for my mother. And we're a non-binary line, so even my father could wear this brand.
That's very interesting. And I think especially the fact that you choose to talk about your unibrow as like you qualify it as a secret, like something to be so ashamed of, and to see your journey. It's very inspiring. And I think younger generations now have more role models to identify to, and to see like beauty comes in all different types of shapes and forms, and we're all beautiful in our own ways. And I think that's a very powerful statement to explain things in this way, of like coming from a secret to seeing your daughter. And I hear that a lot, that usually we see it's easier to see beauty in others than in ourselves. And when you see someone else that is like you, you're like, oh, but that person is beautiful. Maybe I am too. So that's super interesting. And I want to ask you, you kind of explained this a little bit, but what is about your job or the beauty industry that you're passionate about?
I feel like I am one part founder CEO, but I'm also one part activist. It's really my goal, my overall goal, to do an overhaul to this industry. It is very alarming to me, having had zero background in beauty, zero connections in beauty, to walk into a lab, to be able to create these very clean formulas, to have labs push back at me and say, but other brands don't ask these questions, other brands don't care about this stuff. That felt really wrong. And I was very surprised. This is back in 2019, so hopefully since then, I think more brands, or more indie brands, I will say, are out there, trying to create a true revolution and change in the beauty overhaul. But it's in those three facets that I said. A lot of people have a misunderstanding of what clean means. For example, the FDA has regulation for food in America, but there is no governing body in the beauty industry for formulas. That's crazy to me. And it's one of the, a multi-billion-dollar market. So we have no idea, and our skin is our largest organ, and we wear a lipstick and we eat food and we're ingesting these chemicals, or we put it on our eye and then we sleep with our mascara and we don't know what's really being seeped into our eyeballs. So there needs to be a governing body now to start regulating what is considered clean. But then here's the issue. Then who is the person that is setting those standards? And I am very concerned about global warming. And what I see, even, I'm 44 years old, and in my lifetime, I have just seen so much change in terms of the ocean, in terms of plastic usage. And it's not that I'm anti-plastic. I think there are legitimate reasons why we need to use plastic for certain things. However, we're very unconscious with our packaging practices. We're very unconscious with having minis or holiday sets and all of these extra papers and packages that we need to have to promote capitalism, unfortunately. And like anything that's created in a mini vial can never be recycled. Anything that has a pump can't be recycled. So having an understanding of what can and cannot be recycled, having an understanding of what packaging is contributing to the problem also limits what I want to invest in. But I also know there's a need in the industry for have all types of products. So I really want to have a call to action too, to do an overhaul. Like all of these multi-billion-dollar brands have the money, have the research, have the teams, that we could actually work together and create a systemic overhaul that is regenerative instead of pollutant, instead of destructive. And then lastly, with the mental health aspect, I feel that we're living in a world of performance marketing. I feel like it's curated diversity. We now talk about acceptance and showing all types of beauty. However, I'll just use myself as an example. If it's an Iranian model, it might just be one way an Iranian model could look, right? Or an Asian model needs to look this way. So we're kind of doing the same thing, but we're just labeling it as diverse by having different ethnicities. But a lot of times those different ethnicities that are accepted have like a Eurocentric feature, or might have like one specific feature from their culture, but other things are not. So again, it's very subjective. And what that happens is when you create so much shame, when you create so much pollution and competition and a need for a power over dynamic, we aren't creating like love. One, self-love for ourselves, and when we love ourselves, it actually spreads to every aspect of our life, from the way we treat our children, our partners, our friends, our relationships, our business relationships, from the way we care about the earth, from the way that we have interactions and collaborations with each other. I think social media has created an economy where people feel better than one another based on follower counts, based on likes. And this is, again, not what we were put on this earth to do. And I think that makeup has an amazing ability to bring joy, an amazing ability to transform, to have the inner artist inside of you come out. But we've removed that when we say, here's a 7-minute tutorial of an exact way to do an eyeliner. Here is a 2-hour contour lesson. Here is this and that. We all want to look beautiful. We all want to feel good. But imagine how good you would feel if you asked yourself, wow, Rachel, what do I want to do today? How do I want to express myself all over my body? And you weren't afraid of judgment or any rules to tell you what to do. Imagine what liberation and creativity could emerge.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. And you mentioned that I think customers want to tend towards consume brands that are more ethical, also on the environmental aspect. But I want to ask you, based on your experience and you being inside the industry, what are the current trends in the market that you are aware of?
I think it's so interesting because Gen Alpha, which more people are speaking about this year than last year, but starting last year, I started to really pay more attention to Gen Alpha than Gen Z. A lot of times I've gotten, I don't want to say pigeonholed, but I would be considered more of a Gen Z brand because I have colorful paints and I'm really about coloring outside the lines, which is more aligned with Gen Z mentality. But Gen Alpha is really digitally native. Gen Z, the second half of it was, but from Gen Alpha, they were born into this. They're YouTube obsessed. They have a 10-step skincare regimen because they're taught now, because of the access to technology and like the economy that we've created with influencers, that they watch other people do 10-step programs. And so from birth now, we're conditioning this new generation to stay young. And I really see a trend now in skincare. I see a trend in lip gloss because these are things that are more acceptable to have a 9 or 10-year-old wear. There's that clean girl aesthetic, which also supports that. And I think clean, colorful products like mine are still so much ahead of the curve. From a psychodemographic, we haven't even gotten there yet because my own daughters who have a mother that they watch build a brand in front of their eyes who talks about the chemicals that go into the products that they use and why they shouldn't buy them, are still convinced by what they see online of what to use and buy. And so we've created an influencer celebrity economy that profits off of obviously the payment that they get for promoting that product, but there's a lack of ethics in what is being promoted.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you. Now I want to transition a little bit and talk a little bit more about your company. So could you tell me about your company and what products are over at TooD Beauty?
Sure. I really think that we are leading in terms of bringing color to the clean world. A lot of times, if you think of your favorite clean beauty line, you might think of brands that have more of a neutral palette, the browns, the golds, the rose golds, that sort of thing. And it was really celebrated to be clean, but by being clean, it meant that you put on makeup and then 30 minutes later, it doesn't look like you're wearing makeup. And I'm like, well, why even bother if you don't see a difference just for the, like, I don't know, the ceremonial aspect of wearing makeup? I'm not into that. So I wanted to bring something to the industry that didn't add another brand doing the same exact thing. So we, I'm very proud to say, invented the world's first one-swipe biodegradable glitter in the world. Glitter is a huge problem with microplastics. When we put it on our bodies, we have to wash it one day, right? So if we wash it in the sink or we wash it in the shower, it goes in the drain, it goes into the rivers and the oceans, and it's like killing our fish. Soon we're not going to be able to eat sushi or our favorite fish, our grilled fish, because there is so much microplastic now in sea life. And I know with festivals being so popular and glitter being such a fun way to express, like I love wearing glitter, for the right occasion, I thought, how can I create a solution for this for the world? So our glitter, called BioGlitter, is made from eucalyptus cellulose. It's like a living, breathing thing. We have a third-party certification from VAT in Germany where it states that in 28 days or less, our glitter biodegrades in either fresh or salt water because it's the eucalyptus cellulose. And if an animal came across our cellulose and ingest it, it will just secrete the bioglitter. It doesn't harm the animal too. So that was like very, very important for me to create a solution for our bioglitter. We have these 10 creamy eyeshadows called Freestyle Color Cream. They're made with ethically sourced mica. Mica is from a child worker situation. A lot of like children in India are in mines, and it's very unethical to have children kind of mining for mica. And so we have ethically sourced mica made in America, in like the South, that we have a quarry that we could access. And these creamy eyeshadows are made for everything, for hair, for skin, for face. Like the first campaign I had, I put it on my unibrow, but you can put it everywhere. You could put it in your kid's hair as mermaid hair. And I thought it's like such a great way to add a little shimmer to your everyday. And I love it because I can wear the brown color as a lip liner. I can wear more of the pink color as a highlighter. I can wear the green color as an eyeliner. So it's so fun to mix and match. And there's 10 shades that are like quite a palette to play with. Really one of our hero SKUs is this product called Turn It On Soap Brows. And I have it on right now. You can see it's an all natural way to fluff, accentuate, and hold the eyebrow hairs. It's made from vegan glycerin. A lot of times glycerin soap is made from bovine egg, and so we were made sure to have a vegan formulation for that as well, and it's in an aluminum tin, so you can store it with you and travel, and it's good to go. You place that soap brow on with what we have a bamboo brush called a TooD brush. It looks like a toothbrush, but it's called a TooD brush, and so I kind of put the soap on with the TooD brush. Those are really popular for us. And I talked about the BioGlitter. We also have a makeup remover that also we launched with the soap brow. And what I love about the makeup remover is it's a very clean formula. You can use it for your body. It's in that tin, but it's also an amazing off-label usage to clean your makeup brushes, believe it or not, because our makeup brushes get so dirty. And so it's a great way to also clean your makeup brushes too. We are kind of our second wave of new product iterations. After these and the BioGlitter, I started to look more and more into really sustainable packaging. So the next iteration, we launched TooD Scara, which I'm very proud to say won in our first year this year as an Allure Best of Beauty winner in the colored mascara category. It's the first mascara in the world made with ocean waste plastic packaging. Even the wand for a fully sustainable package. The formula is made 99.3% all natural. And I mean like fruits, plants, and flowers made the formula. The 0.7 is the glue that kind of sticks it all together. That's very safe. And the formula lasts. A lot of times when you wear a clean mascara, you may notice some flaking underneath, or it doesn't really give you volume, but it's buildable, it's volumizing, and it just adds color. And so we have 3 colors. We have a black, we have a blue, which won Allure Best in Beauty, and we launched a green in honor of our win. So those are really fun. You can also create like a blue lash on top, green on bottom, where you mix and match. So I just wanted people to have fun with that too. And of course you could put it in your brows, you could put it in your hair, and you could sleep with it. Not that I'm suggesting you sleep with it, but sometimes as a mom, I fall asleep, and what's so nice is I don't lose an eyelash in the morning, and I don't have flakes all over my skin. So it's like an amazing, amazing formula. I'm very proud of that innovation. We also launched 7 liquid liner formulas. We have a white, a pink, a yellow, a periwinkle blue, 2 types of green and forest and lime, and a yellow. and a black. And what is so great about that is in the clean world, liquid liner didn't exist. And one of my retailers at Credo, who is a clean beauty retailer, they said, Cher, if you can come up with a liquid liner that lasts and is not too liquidy and like messy and all over the place, please do. And I don't know if you can see it. I have this periwinkle color on my eyes that I can put on it. And it just gives a pop of color. And again, for Coachella coming up too, you can make these really fun designs. You know, a lot of times I see people put the white above their eyebrows. And so it's just, again, a very fun palette to play around and just see all the ways that you can come up with something. And lastly, we created something called Hypnotic Color Cream. So the first round we did freestyle color cream, which are in those 10 shades, but I thought, how am I pushing the industry? Because I saw these chrome, multicolor palettes coming to life, but none of them were in a clean formation. So right now I have this blue one that changes. It might be hard on the podcast to see, but it goes from like blue to gray to like another type of blue. So we have 4 colors because that's all that was available to me technology-wise. And these are triple chrome creams where the pearls itself cost me $4,500 a kilogram. But what I'm trying to do is create whatever is the latest technology available to me in the clean world. And so we have 4 shades that have like blues and greens and kind of more of this like auburn purple palette.
Awesome. That's exciting. Exciting projects coming then. I feel like you already answered that question a little bit, but I really want to give you the chance to really dive into this topic and tell me what unique value do TooD beauty products bring to your customers.
I think if I go back to my story of origin, you can see that I felt so less than that a lot of times in my life, especially in my childhood, I needed to overachieve. I needed to overachieve because I thought that unless I was really at the top, then I really wasn't worthy of love. And so it's interesting, even just sharing with you my product line, I'm really understanding how much we have overachieved in our products. We're really pushing the envelope of where is the latest technology, where is the latest packaging, how can we make them compatible with each other, and how can we bring the industry new product innovation, not another lip gloss, another lip liner, a lot of these things that a million brands do. And like I said, I care so much about the environment that it doesn't make sense for me to invest in something that there are already a million other things that people can buy. That's just adding more waste and pollution to this space. So I think what really differentiates TooD is the product innovation in terms of the formulas, the packaging, the way we talk about the makeup expression, the way we encourage our customers to accept themselves, and the way that we really believe we have conscious creators who can color outside the lines and share their beauty narrative through the way that they express themselves in their artistry.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you. Now I want to transition a little bit into your role as the CEO, because as you said, you have a lot of products, you've been launching a lot of different projects, working on a lot of different things. So I guess it's not always easy. So I want to ask you, what are some of the challenges of being the CEO at TooD Beauty? What do the day-to-day challenges look like?
Like I said, I wasn't part of the beauty industry originally. So I've learned now, we're 3 years old, we launched in January of 21. There is a specific algorithm even in being a beauty founder. You're expected to, be on social media all day talking about your brand and nothing else. You're expected to go to certain conferences. You're expected to have a team that does X, Y, and Z. But when I am a creative enigma that just feels inspired through so many things, I want to do the writing because I have a very different point of view of where I think the beauty industry should go. I am negotiating deals and my sales deals and making sure how are my customers feeling about the product. And because I'm actually the formulator, I'm working directly with the labs and pushing back on them when they're giving me products that are not of high integrity. I feel very overwhelmed certain days with how much I have to do to run this machine. Oftentimes I feel like I have the weight of the brand on my shoulder. And also because my story is so central to the brand, I am the face of the brand too. So I have to model for it, share with it on social media. But I'm also a single mom of 3 daughters. And that is not a job that I take lightly. And having all of that responsibility, I sometimes feel like I can't just focus on being the CEO of the
Uh,
brand.
yeah.
And
Uh,
I also feel that as an indie brand, because I don't have an investor yet, I'm open to that. A lot of the financial responsibility, a lot of the strategic plan and decision making really falls on me, where a lot of other brands get seeding, get funding, have like a team that is helping them, and they have the connections to grow to the next level. And everything I've done is bootstrapped on my back by myself.
yeah, I can definitely relate to the part where like there's so many hats that you need to wear and you need to take care of everything. So I want to ask you as well, in your what type of mindset is needed to be a successful CEO in your opinion?
I think especially today in 2024, the answer is very different than say when my father was a CEO of a company, and another decade ago. But right now in this digital age, we have to be so nimble and flexible. We cannot have a strategic plan that plans out the next 3 to 5 years. Of course we can when we need to, but we also need to be not rigid. We need to pay attention to the world. We need to pay attention to the youth, but also we can pay attention to older generations too, of purchasing behavior, of TikTok trends, of the ways that people want to express themselves. And we really need to pay attention to the environment. So I think it's very hard to be a CEO in 2024. There's so many different things at play because we're in a very high stakes industry, and the world is changing so rapidly with the just acceleration of technology that it is oftentimes really impossible to stay on top of it. And as creatives and as CEOs, we also need downtime, because if we're constantly overstimulated, we aren't able to really lead in our self energy. And so it's like, how are we also carving out time for reflection, for meditation, for contemplation, for evaluation, and also just play, creative play. So it requires a type of structure, but also an ease and a lack of structure, if that makes sense, to give yourself the permission. That's my observation. I don't know if that's just what I see.
No, definitely. And like you said, the world that we live is evolving so much, especially with like e-commerce. It's digital, so there's so many things happening, and it's still recent. We're used to it now, but it's still very recent when you look at it objectively. And data, because of the internet, came into all of this and changed a lot of things. And we're a data analytics company, so I'm always curious to hear about other people's experiences as well. And I want to ask you, in your experience, how does data influence decision making and strategies in the beauty industry?
For me, tremendously. And I think in the beginning, I didn't really pay attention to data because I am an artist and I was creating, and I was wearing so many hats that I really needed to. I think as I started to mature into my CEO role, I really use my numbers to determine where I'm going to launch, what quarter am I going to launch. Does it make sense for me to invest in going international, into retail, because that requires a certain capital investment that you may not be aware of when you don't know. So I have so many retail deals pending, but I'm also very careful of when I want to launch, given the financial investment that is required to support education, to support training, to support like field support, you got to look at every retailer like a baby, that you're having a new baby and you need to give love to that baby. I think what's so great is, as someone who is an artist, data allows me to have boundaries. because I want to do everything, and I have done everything in a way. And data has allowed me to give myself the strictness that's required to be focused. And I think as a CEO in the beauty space that is highly competitive, which by the way, I'm not in competition with anyone. In fact, I want us all to learn from each other. And I do say in beauty, there is like such wonderful camaraderie and people are very generous in sharing. But you know what I mean? Like the digital age has created so much competition and so much access that with the data, it allows me to stay focused on what's required to grow my numbers, to have financial health.
Yeah, definitely. And data analytics is also used a lot to understand consumer preferences. So, like you said, it allows you, when you have an idea that is creative, it allows you to check, okay, is there a market for this? Um, can you share insights on the role of data analytics in understanding consumer preferences and trends within your company?
Sure. We have Shopify, which we use for our D2C business. So we're able to see where consumers are from all over the country and also the channels in which they found us through. Was it through Instagram? Was it through an email campaign? Was it through a paid ad? Was it through word of mouth, a referral program? So that's been wonderful for us to understand, like, where do our customers from? How do we acquire new customers? And how is like the word of the brand and the products going out? Also, we can look at repeat purchases, like what are the products that are being consumed more, or is this the product that is the hook, then that leads to exploration into other products. So it's been very helpful for us to understand, wow, we should really gear our marketing towards promoting the mascara because that's an everyday staple product. And when they use an everyday staple product and they really love it, then they're able to say, okay, maybe I'm willing to try that blue liner, for example, right? So it's about building brand loyalty and brand trust and credibility, which then can lead to exploration into product extension. There was something, ask me the question again, there was something else that came to mind and I am forgetting.
I mean, for me, that's good. A good answer. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now I want to ask you, it's more of a general, not general, but less data oriented question. What is your vision for the next 12 months for TooD Beauty? You told us about a few projects, but overall.
For 12 months, you said? I think it's a really interesting question and a very interesting time for me. I have been in this rocket ship since I've launched, where I get a lot of interest, we get a lot of press, I get a lot of opportunities as a public speaker to share my philosophy about beauty and the beauty industry and the brand. But I have been really thinking about what is the next generation of TooD? What do I want to invest in? And I want to really focus on community. I want to hear more from the people that use our products, but also get more connected to just the overall world. I have dabbled in a show called TooD Talks, where I'm able to have conversations with guests from various backgrounds and we kind of talk about their beauty experience. So I am really excited to kind of relaunch TooD Talks this year in more of a bigger platform. So stay tuned on that. We also launched on TikTok Shop, and TikTok is not something that I invested in mainly because I'm 44 years old, I'm a single mom, and I was like running the business and everything was kind of going through Instagram. So everyone says to me, Cher, your brand is so TikTok. So I'm hopeful that we can have a stronger presence on TikTok and have the virality of our products reach new audiences, and then also be able to leverage that directly through the TikTok shop. So they don't have to go anywhere. They can just click and purchase. And seeing just what the TikTok consumer from a data perspective shows us about purchasing behavior, about their habits and what they're interested in, because every channel is showing you something different. And I have already 5 or 6 new products in my pipeline. I've been waiting on when I want to invest in that because I still think that our brand is so small and indie. There still needs to be greater adoption and awareness into the brand. And so when I feel the right time is, I'm going to pull the trigger and bring even more innovation to the industry that is still not out there yet. So kind of those are my 3 goals for the next 12 months. But I am going to start looking for an active investor. I've taken the brand so far on my own, and it would be amazing to see an institutional investor that has the resources in beauty and sees just the true magic that we've created to help with our growth, both in terms of reach and in terms of our customer base and the product innovation. So I'm really looking forward to finding the right fit for that. It's like a marriage, but I bet on me, and I'm a creative individual, and there is so much yet to be launched. And so it'd be really fun to have an investor, a partner to help with bringing more to the world.
Okay, very exciting. So growth coming for the next 12 months. That's amazing. Now my last question is, it's kind of to wrap things up, but I think it's interesting and very insightful for the people that are listening. What are some of the most important things that you've learned in your career? Everything.
This is a personal answer, but you asked me personally. Because of my overachievement, I really pour myself, my whole heart and soul into everything I do. From building a home to building a business to managing anything. And I have really been burnt out through that process. Yet there is you have to give up. You do have to make sacrifices in order to build something. And it's with joy that I do that. So I think what I've learned in my career is how can I still give my 100%, but also honor myself? So there is a reciprocal exchange of energy where I am taking care of myself emotionally, physically, mentally, but I'm also able to do the same for my business or for my job or my stuff like that. And I think as a woman, that is sometimes harder than a man because we also have to be the caretakers most of the time for our children too, if we're a parent. And now that my children are older, they're turning 15, 13, and 10 this year, which I cannot believe. I'm now at an interesting phase now where I have a little bit more wiggle room to start having more of a healthier work-life balance. And I don't mean by any means of not working as hard as I do. That's just not who I am. But it's about regenerative exchanges that don't feel so depleting. It's very hard to be an indie brand, without capital investment and to do all that on your own. And I'm really looking for more of a partnership moving forward.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for your reply. I think it's a very wise lesson, and I think that every people that are in business can all relate to like finding the right balance between your project, because this is your life, this is kind of your baby too, and your actual personal life and real babies if you have any. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Now, for the people that are listening and that want to reach out to you, where can they find you?
My Instagram is at Sharareh Siadat, ShararehSiadat. Our brand's Instagram is at TooD Beauty, TOOD Beauty. But you can also find us on TikTok at TooD Beauty and send me a DM. And also on LinkedIn, which is how we connected. at Sharareh Siadat, I believe. I need to get better at LinkedIn, which is something that should have been on my 12-month to-do list as well. But I would love to hear from you. I just love hearing from people from all aspects, whether it's like customers, whether it's other business people, whether it's colleagues or people in the beauty industry that have ideas, collaborations. It's all good and it's all for a reason. So I trust the universe. Come and find me.
Well, awesome. So people, feel free to reach out. I will put all your information in the description of the podcast to make it easier.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.